Hello everyone and welcome back to Gabby's Side here on YouTube, and happy Monday! We have just started a new week and I thought what better way to start it than with another build and chat with me. So we've done this last week I believe, and it was like a Oasis Spring sort of build. I loved that one, it was so much fun, and you know, these are supposed to be like really real-time builds where I don't really plan much, I just go with the flow, and it just worked out so well. I had so much fun chatting with you all, and I got some really lovely comments on that video, and I don't know, it made me so happy to see that you guys enjoy that too, and so I'm really appreciative of that, and I hope that we can also just have a chill and really nice time in this one too. So yeah, having said that though, thank you all for the recent support. I've just been getting a lot of comments on various videos, not even just Sims related, but any videos that I do, and honestly it always comes at such a important point, not to sound dramatic or anything, but you know, sometimes I feel a little bit down, and you know, you start to sort of compare yourself, or you know, even just comparing myself to myself and thinking, was that video really as good as my previous ones? But I always seem to log on to YouTube and just see a really nice comment on that exact day that I need it at that exact moment, and I don't know what to say. It just means so much to me. I can never explain that in words, but thank you everyone for your lovely comments. I really greatly appreciate that. And also, you know, I just wanted to do this build really for the next Sim Stories episode that I want to put out, probably sometime this week. And I chose this like really small lot. Again, it's an apartment, I know, but I'm obsessed with apartments at the moment. So I chose this one. I haven't changed the name. You can find this in the fashion district. It's a very small apartment. It's supposed to be a 1-bedroom and 1-bathroom. So I thought, you know what, let's renovate this lot. And the next person that we'll have in the Sim Stories is someone who is struggling a lot with anxiety, with depression, and you know, the apartment shows that they haven't been taking good care of their you know, surroundings, of their home. And so that's what I want to kind of show to you guys throughout this apartment, because I know that's how I feel. I feel terrible when I can't clean my own surroundings and I can't keep it fresh and tidy, because I just don't have the energy or the motivation, but in turn that makes me feel even worse. So it's like, it's a very bad cycle to be in, but I know how that feels absolutely, and probably some of you, you know, out there will know how it feels. So I want to just do that together on The Sims, because for me The Sims is an escape, but it's also a place where I can sort of reflect on things, right? So I don't know, we'll just go with it. If you know, you don't want to of course hear about these sort of topics in today's part, or if that is really close to home and you feel like I can't handle that, then don't worry, you know, I won't take offense, of course. Just click off and protect yourself. That's important. Just make sure that you feel okay in yourself. Sorry, by the way, I'm really out of breath. I just finished, I actually, talking about cleaning, I just finished cleaning the house, so I need to like catch my breath now after all of that. But yeah, so welcome everyone. Sorry for that like very serious intro, but I feel like it needed it. I feel like it needed to be said. So yes, I hope you are all doing well as per usual, and just having a lovely start to the week. I've actually, yeah, as I said, I've cleaned the house today. I've had a pretty busy day so far, very sort of productive, which feels great. I even went for a jog this morning, which I haven't done in really long, so it didn't really go that well, I won't lie, but you know what, I thought to myself at the end of it, I was like, at least I did it today, and that's all that I had to tell myself to sort of get through it, you know. So it's been quite a nice productive day for me. I hope for you guys too that you've had a lovely day so far, and excited for the new week ahead. I hope it's for us here, it's gonna be quite a sunny week. Got a few things planned that I'm looking forward to this week, so Yeah, I'm quite excited actually. I am quite excited for it, and I hope you guys are as well. So for this apartment, as I mentioned, I'm just sort of laying out a few things now. I do tend to use a lot of CC in my builds, but I always link them down below, my favorite creators. I don't link each specific item that I use because I've actually just got everything from like 3 creators, being Harry, Felix Andre, and Peacemaker. And you know, Plumbop Tea Society sometimes for the cottage garden stuff as well. And I've got, yeah, so I've got most of their things installed. So as long as you have a look through their websites, you'll find, you know, I'm sure you'll find the items that I'm using most of the time. But if you have any questions, leave them down below. I've had some people comment, you know, where did you get this? And I'm always happy to respond and find it for you guys. So just let me know. I try to link everything, but you know, sometimes I don't do a very good job, so my apologies. But yeah, here we are today. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the floor plan right now, and it's a bit tricky. They had the bathroom here before, and I'm thinking of putting it there again because I did think maybe here could be quite nice, but then you've got this really weird 2-tile space. So you know what, let's put the bathroom here. And I'm just thinking maybe we could, no, actually that should be enough space. So I want this to look a little bit run down because it's supposed to be like a little bit of a cheaper apartment. But also, as I mentioned, the person living here hasn't been taking like great care of the apartment. Not in a bad way, they just literally haven't had, you know, the energy to do that. So it's gonna be a little bit rough around the edges, but I don't mind that. I think that makes a quite a nice change to the builds that I'm usually doing, so I'm excited to see how that turns out in the end. But yeah, I'm just, you know, I realized as well, and the reason that I kind of was drawn to doing a Sim story is to do a little bit more of anxiety and stuff, is that so many people have it. You know, it sounds, I know it sounds really simple, and you know, you've probably heard of that so many times, but to me, that became true when I see people that not that I know, but that I watch, kind of admit that, just casually like throw it in there, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you have it too. You know, it's that sort of moment, and that's when it becomes real for me. When I hear these numbers like, oh, you know, 1 in 3 or whatever, right? I don't know if it's 1 in 3, don't quote me on that, but just as an example, you know, they throw out the statistics. That doesn't really tell me much because it's not people that I know or watch, or, you know, it's not someone that I can actually put a face to, right? But when you actually see someone admitting it, and then you're like, oh, okay, like this person has it, I had no idea. They look so put together, they look like they've got everything under control, and yet that person is also maybe struggling. And I mean, some of you guys probably know this already. Well, everyone knows here, I think, that I'm a huge Sims fan, but I also watch, you know, I watch some smaller Sims YouTubers, and I watch some bigger Sims YouTubers. I watch everyone basically. And you know, I saw that little Simsy sometimes sort of, I don't know if she's admitted it. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to say here that she has it or not. I'm honestly not sure, but I did see in one of her videos, like she said something about like having a good cry before the video, and it's just little things like that kind of remind you that these people are human, right? And that we all have our struggles. Or recently as well, Deligracy has put out a video, you know, sharing that she's gone to talk with a therapist again, and this isn't the first time she's seen a therapist, but you know, that she just felt quite nervous about calling them because of course now everything's done over the phone as well, which adds a whole new, you know, layer to it that we didn't have before as much. So you know, those sorts of things, like I'm very sorry to hear that some creators are having a tough time, or they're going to see a therapist. You know, in itself, that's terrible news that you have to, but at the same time, it's so positive that they are going to see a therapist and that they are sharing this with their sometimes very young and impressionable audience, right? I think that's so positive, and it just amazed me. I don't know, I was watching it, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and I just thought, wow, you know, this is great. We're making such good progress. We're not there yet, but aren't we just making such good progress? You know, it just makes me so happy. So yeah, that's kind of why I was inspired for my next Sim story to do something a little bit with anxiety, depression, etc., because those two very often go hand in hand, don't they? So, but yeah, that's sort of the inspiration for this build. I don't know why I was trying to personify an apartment into anxiety and depression. It's not supposed to be like that, but I like my builds to feel real and lived in. So, as I said, this person, you know, has just lived in this really nice apartment. The apartment itself is not bad at all. It's a lovely apartment, I'm sure. But yeah, they've just kind of let it go a little bit, you know, and they feel terrible for it. They really do. But yeah, so it's just about sort of what do you do? You know, what's the next steps after that? That kind of thing. I'm not sure whether I want to use sort of this wall all around the home. I still want it to feel quite cozy at the same time, you know? So I feel like using that kind of wall, I think, makes it feel a little bit less cozy, to be honest. We could, however, use these lovely, lovely wallpapers from Harry, the plain and simple plaster. Because it is plain and simple and it gets the job done, doesn't it? I think that might look quite nice here. We could even... should we do white? Oh, I don't know. This is difficult. This is difficult. I'm not getting a vision yet for the house. You know, it's a little bit hard right now to see the vision, I guess. But what I like to do when I'm a little bit stuck with what to build next is just have a look at the stuff in your catalog and, you know, just try to place it down. See what works, see what doesn't. Ooh. I kind of love the idea of having this wallpaper. This is giving me a bit more personality, a bit more character to the type of person that could be living here. What we could do is imagine that this apartment was passed down to the person living here from like their grandmother or grandfather, someone in their family. And so a lot of it is a little bit old and outdated, but it's also clear that the person living here now has, you know, made a few changes to it and has tried to make it their own. So there's a kind of, yeah, there's just a kind of different feeling around the house, around different parts of the house. It's like two different generations have met. I think that would make sense here. I'm just wondering as well what kind of counters to use here. Because I want it to look, again, a little bit outdated. I'm thinking something like this, maybe. And then whether we should have... maybe white. Yeah, I don't want it to feel too dark in here. That's the thing. I feel like we're in danger zone right now of making it a little bit too dark and gloomy in here. But I feel like if I add these sorts of white countertops, it kind of just makes it a little bit, you know, white and bright. But yeah, I'm really, really happy to be doing sort of what what I really like to do is, as silly as that sounds, you know, I feel like even if you're sort of a small YouTuber just starting off, it's really easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself, because sometimes, you know, some of your content will just, you know, do better than other content that you create, and that's of course a normal part of the process. But what I find interesting is that whenever I don't feel like doing something and instead I just do something that I really enjoy, that just always ends up being so much more positive, so much better, because I actually enjoy what I'm creating, and I feel like a lot of the people watching then can feel that from me. They can feel that I am actually really enjoying, you know, what I'm doing, and I don't know, it just sounds like such a simple concept, right? Just, you know, do what you love to do, and people can feel that. And I think that's so true. I think what I'm trying to say is that it's nice to be reminded of that sometimes, that, you know, it's okay to do different things or to switch up your content, because whoever does watch you for you, and whoever does enjoy your content will genuinely see that you are enjoying making it. So yeah, that kind of hit me as well. I've had a lot of revelations, that's the word. My brain stopped working there for a second. Yeah, I had a lot of revelations in the last couple of days, but I think that's amazing. I love having these moments when I'm like, oh, okay, so, you know, this is how it works, and this is how I'm going to react to this. It's great, right? We just, you know, we never stop learning. I think that's the main thing, that's the main takeaway from this, is that we never stop learning. And that, you know, I feel like I haven't got my life figured out yet. And it's just crazy to me, because when I was young and I looked at people my age, I thought they had everything under control, like they knew what they were doing, right? And now I'm that age and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think that's tough sometimes. You gotta realize that, well, first of all, that you do know what you're doing sometimes, but secondly, it's okay to not know everything. And I think, yeah, that's sometimes the tricky part, you know? It's reminding yourself of these sorts of things. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling on right now, but I'm sure some of you feel that same way. So yeah, I kind of don't like how these things clash, but at the same time, it's sort of reminding me of like, it really is reminding me of like a grandma's kitchen, you know, especially with these sorts of tiles going around. I really like the look of them, and I think it's just giving me that a vibe that I wanted this place to have, sort of old and cozy and warm. And you can see, you know, the person living here has probably changed up the chairs, and maybe they got a new stove, or I don't know, something. They have obviously made changes to the place, but at the same time it's still got that charm. And I don't know, I feel like I'm visiting a grandma right now, you know. I'm in her space, and I don't know, in her kitchen, and she's cooking up a storm, and I'm just getting those sorts of yeah, that sort of feeling from this place, and I like it. It's definitely giving me the feeling that I wanted it to have. So I have been playing a lot of Sims myself lately, and it's really, for me, it's a great way to relax, especially if I'm a bit, you know, more stressed out than I am, or a bit more anxious as well. It's really incredible for that. It really does sort of de-stress me and calm me down a little bit. And, you know, the other thing that I've noticed with mods is that you can create a little bit more scope for sort of different emotions that your Sims can go through, or different phases in their life. The one thing that I really like, I think it's from the Slice of Life mod actually, is that Sims will sometimes sort of question their own weight, the way they look. Like, you know, if a Sim has just gotten pregnant, they will sort of have that feeling of, okay, maybe, you know, I'm putting on a lot of weight. Is this normal? You know, sort of things like that. And I really like that, not for the fact that, you know, people feel this way. It's you know, horrible, and nobody should feel that way about themselves, but in the way that with that you can just have so much more storytelling, right? Because you can, you know, go through that with your own Sim. And it is very mixed though, because I know that some people, you know, don't really want to have a lot of mental illnesses or even physical disabilities and things like that in the game, because it's supposed to be an escape from life. It's supposed to be like a perfect world, I guess, right? And to an extent, I totally get that, because of course, you know, a lot of us play this to escape and to have a good time, and yeah, just forget about the real world issues, right? We don't, you know, it's the same when the eco pack first came out, and I feel like a lot of people were mixed on that, because it's like, oh well, we already basically, you know, having problems in our real world to do with, you know, our environment and the way we treat the world and etc. So why do we now need to have these same problems in our game that we play to just have fun in and forget about these problems? So I feel like there's always a mixed reaction to these sorts of things, but I think the best thing that I imagine for the game, let's say like Sims 5, is that these things are included. You know, it's, I don't know, for me it's nice having a choice, and I think that's just for me as someone, for example, who doesn't have a physical disability. It's nice to then have that choice of creating someone with a physical disability, because then, you know, another group of people are represented. But I mean, I can't talk for someone with a physical disability, but I've seen a lot of comments on previous videos that I've watched, and you know, people would like to see themselves represented in the game, and they would like to see their favorite content creators representing them in the game. So I think for both sides it would just be nice to have that choice. And you know, I feel like with some of the game packs like Eco Lifestyle or Laundry Day, you kind of choose to turn it off, right? If you don't want to use it, you can choose to turn basically that feature off. And so then I'm wondering, okay, why can't we do that for sort of more like physical disabilities, mental sort of illnesses? I think it would just be cool to have a choice to do that, in my opinion. And you know, you can choose to turn it off, on or off. I just think we should have the choice. I think that's the main thing, right? That you have a choice whether or not you want these things implemented, rather than just being sort of, you know, given what's there and that's it, and you gotta deal with it, because it's just not enough, right? I think we can all agree there's just not enough. So yeah, it would just be awesome if like in the next game we would have these things implemented, and it would feel so much more realistic, and you know, your Sims can really sort of live more meaningful lives and have more meaningful even problems. As bad as that sounds, I feel like a lot of the time your Sims are living a good life, right? They're living a really sort of easy life, and they're just having a ball. Like the biggest problem is that, I don't know, they didn't win the lottery, you know? And I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know, there's bigger problems out there probably than you not winning the lottery once a year. So yeah, I'm wondering as well if many of you also have this thing about like your space being clean or something. I don't think I've had this like all my life, but I feel recently that if I'm not like in a really sort of clean space and stuff, I just feel so stressed out, you know. I can't even explain it. I just don't feel good in myself. And I don't know, it's just so interesting to me, because this is something, yeah, that I haven't had all my life, and I haven't really sort of felt before when I was younger or anything. But especially I think, you know, maybe it is when you get older and you have your own space, and you know, you're obviously responsible for it, so no one else is gonna, you know, clean it for you and look after it for you. But yeah, I don't know, I do feel that a lot more recently. And yeah, so it's interesting to me, but I'm so glad that I've worked that out, because beforehand I would just get so, you know, wound up about this, like for no reason seemingly. But then I'm like, oh wait, it's because the space isn't clean, because after I would clean it, it's like, you know, I'm a brand new person. I'm like, oh, okay, everything's okay now. You know, everything's okay now. It's all fine. So yeah, I don't know. That was really, like, again, a revelation for me and my partner, because he would also obviously, you know, realize that I was being a bit more stressed than usual and stuff like that. So yeah, I figured that out. I was like, okay, this is definitely something that bothers me if the space isn't clean. And I'm not like the most clean person either. I'm, you know, I can, for example, like we clean once a week and that's plenty, you know. Usually we keep the space pretty tidy anyway. So we have like a full-on like clean, right? Like a proper clean once a week, you know. But yeah, so, and that's really important. Like, to me, that time that we clean is really, really important. Not that I even really like cleaning that much. Like, I will get in a mood, sometimes like a cleaning mood, and then yeah, I can just, you know, I can just go on. It gets to that point then when I'm like, you know, I don't know, pulling out all the clothes of the wardrobe and like really deep cleaning, you know. Sometimes it's very easy for me to go down that rabbit hole, but no, most of the time it is just like a normal sort of clean once a week. And then I don't know, just, you know, I just feel so much better after. I feel like myself again, everything's good in the world. But yeah, as I mentioned, it just took me a while to figure that out, because I feel like a lot of the time there are certain what are they called, like stresses, I guess. I don't know exactly the word I'm looking for here, but that, you know, there are certain things that get to us, right? And I think the worst thing is not knowing what that is. Like, knowing something's bothering you, like you're just angry for basically no reason, or a little bit upset, or a little bit annoyed, a little bit disappointed, but you don't know why. And I think that, to me, is worse than just having the emotion with a reason, you know? Like, yeah, I'll feel angry, but then I know, okay, it's because the room isn't tidy. Let me tidy it right now. Let me fix this, you know? But not knowing it is so frustrating, because then you do take it out on people, or you take it out on yourself for no reason. And it's just like this sort of bad cycle again to be in. So I think it's quite important actually to just figure out what these triggers, maybe that's the word I was looking for. I think triggers. So sorry if you were like screaming at me like, Gabby, it's triggers. Triggers, different triggers around the world that can impact you, and I think that's okay. I think everyone has that, and it's okay to know what those are and then act on that, right? So yeah, I think that's really important, especially on the days that I'm down. You know, which is, again, like I said, it's hard, because then you kind of feel like you don't have the energy to fix the environment that you're in, I guess is the best way to put it. But at the same time, you should, because how else are you gonna get better? It's that kind of deal, right? And that, to me, that's something I haven't figured out yet, I think, is what to do in those cases. And, you know, people can say, well, just go easy on yourself, you know, take it easy today. And yeah, like, fair enough, of course you should take it easy. But I feel like there comes a point between like taking it easy and using that as an excuse. At least I have found for myself. A lot of the time I will just be like, okay, I'm having a bad day. You know, I will say that to myself. I'm having a bad day today. Completely fair enough, right, to feel that way, of course. Everyone has a bad day. But then I'm like, okay, where does that end? Because then, am I really just having a bad day, or am I sort of now using this as an excuse to not get things done anymore in the whole day because I'm having a bad day? You know, it's that kind of, I guess, yeah, self-awareness, right? And I feel like for me, yeah, that's sort of, it can really come and go, and sometimes I'm very self-aware that I'm doing it, and sometimes I'm not, and it becomes more like an excuse. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting to me. As I said, we're forever learning about ourselves, and again, maybe some of you feel the same way, and if you do, I hope you know that it's just normal. Yeah, I haven't worked out what this person is gonna do for a living yet. But I kind of get the impression that they might sort of work from home and spend a lot of time at home, whether it is, because of Corona or just because of the actual job and what it asks of them. So I'm not entirely sure yet what route we're gonna go down for their work and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like this person does spend a lot of time here, and I don't know, they feel maybe what they feel as well is that the place isn't really their own, because I feel like they might have gotten a bit comfortable here, like over time. As I said, one of their grandparents, let's say, or some like a relative has passed away and left this nice apartment in their what's it called, in their hands. I mean, that's not what I meant, but we'll go with it. So they've left this lovely apartment in their hands, and I don't know, maybe this person at first wanted to sort of live here for a little while, but then just give a good renovation and maybe either move out, rent it out, for example, maybe make it their own by really just changing things up in here, modernizing it, etc. But at the same time, I think it could be very hard to renovate a space that maybe you visited, that your grandparent has lived in, all of that. It's just a very hard situation to be doing that, right? So maybe they sort of felt that, and they haven't come to terms with the loss, and again, that's a very difficult situation, and they haven't really let themselves have that process time, and now they're kind of stuck in this in-between stage where they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves to get things done and maybe move out, etc. But at the same time, they are really struggling, and it comes to a point where maybe they need to admit to themselves that they are struggling. So I think that's what I'm going with here. I'm going with that kind of storyline. I've also kind of put these chairs as unusable, 3 of them, because they probably only use this one. That's like the main one, just to show as well they don't have a lot of visitors at the moment that come over and see them, so they're really sort of doing it on their own right now, which can be really, really tough as well, of course. So yeah, there's a lot going on under the surface, and yeah, I just like I mentioned to you guys, I love doing these sorts of builds that have a little bit more story to them and show a story through the actual build itself. There we go, just adding some clutter as well on the stove, and making it look a bit more lived in, and maybe the person hasn't been really keeping on top of the cleaning, like dishes and putting things away very quickly, so things tend to get kind of stacked up, etc. But yeah, at the moment, it's not really giving me a young person's vibe. It is definitely giving me an older person's vibe. Though what I was gonna suggest is maybe making the bedroom sort of a really much tidier space, like much more modern and stuff, because maybe that's the first thing they started with, renovating the bedroom, and then they kind of fell out of it, and just didn't continue after that. So I kind of like that idea, the bedroom being a bit more modern and more suited to their tastes, and this sort of main space really being the space that they struggle with maintaining and renovating. Cool. And now that I'm putting a lot of books and stuff around here, around the computer, and I am taking up this space. I just said I wasn't sure what I'm gonna do with this, but I guess I've made up my mind. But yeah, what I'm thinking of doing now is sort of having this person be a teacher, like a professor maybe, or a teacher. Perhaps with Corona, they have been teaching from home, and usually they went in and had, you know, a little bit more just time outside, but now they are spending all their time from home teaching. So they brought out this old PC and they're trying to use it, but maybe this person doesn't really like using, you know, technology that much to begin with. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that could be cool to have that as a storyline, like this person has sort of been forced to start working from home and that hasn't been good for them at all. So yeah, talking sort of about COVID and, you know, how it's making this particular person feel, but also in general, I think, I don't know about you guys, I feel like for me personally, it's sort of made it much worse. Because the one thing that I really struggled with was no sense of sort of rhythm anymore, no routine, and just things like that. Kind of, it was really difficult basically, because I am definitely a creature of habits. I need my routine, I need, you know, those sorts of things keeping me going all the time. Yeah, and just having a sense of like belonging, right? So like, okay, today I'm going to work and I'm going to have, you know, this and this class, etc. So definitely for me, that was one of the things that I first started to struggle with a lot, was sort of having that routine and, you know, getting myself out of bed and kind of things like that, really. And I don't know, at first it was definitely like a really sort of positive experience, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, okay, you know, for introverts, this is probably a nice time to recharge, right? Yeah, I don't know, you kind of just try to see, I guess, the positive in it and not, you know, have a meltdown straight away. But after time, I think it was really difficult to, yeah, to feel, I guess, any sort of positivity anymore, because, yeah, you just don't have that schedule, and it's really hard. To keep that going, I feel. I'll pop a little cheeky Baby Yoda in here as well. I've been obsessed with Baby Yoda. I haven't even watched Mandalorians yet. But I'm just so obsessed with it. I love it so much. He's so cute. And I can't get over the cuteness. I just can't get over it. I really should watch that series. I've had some good things about it, so I think it's definitely going to be next on my sort of to watch list, I think. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I realized that this was going to be... this was going to be the modern room, and I'm just, like, adding just the most, like, old-fashioned beds ever in it. My apologies. Right, so I want to kind of leave this wall here, because maybe this was the old wall. Maybe, like, I don't know, from a long time ago. Who knows? But I do want to leave this wall here just so that it looks like it's not finished yet, you know, like this place isn't finished yet. And yeah, I like the idea of that, because like I said, we want it to look a little bit, you know, run down and stuff, right? So I think that's okay. I think that's you know, to be expected. Oh, I also like that, like a little bit of a mark on the wall there, you know, just, I mean, on the floor, just from wear and tear, obviously, over time. But yeah, this bedroom isn't finished. Like, you know, you've got like a little crate here, obviously from something. Maybe I'll make it that color so it looks like, you know, they've literally taken one of these boxes. So yeah, they did start with this bedroom, kind of got through it a little bit, but then, as I said, something happened. They've given up for now, and maybe they'll try again later. We'll see. Maybe I'll put like a map here as well, just to show that it's been a while, you know, that this room has been like this. It's been some time, and Like I said, I think when you're in this position, it can be hard to get out of it completely. Oh, I love this like little, I don't even know what to call it, to be honest. Like a little window mirror. Kind of looks like a window mirror. It's very adorable. I think, is this cottage? Oh yeah, cottage garden. I was gonna say, it looks so cute. It must be cottage garden stuff. And it is. So it's a really sweet umbrella. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I just wanted to call that umbrella. Wow. I have no words. I have no words for myself. Not entirely sure what to add in this corner though, but I'm thinking maybe the person had a really large book collection and could not like fit it into the living room. Yeah, so I'm honestly just thinking of adding some bookshelves here, which I know is not very creative, but it does go with our storyline of this person, you know, being a sort of a professor or some sort of teacher, and yeah, they just had a lot of books that they had to bring with them. Maybe they wanted to clear out some space in this part and put them in, but again, haven't got round to it, so we'll just pop them in here for now. You know, that's sort of where we're going with this. Kind of want to add like one of these rockers as well. I've recently downloaded some rocking chairs because I'm just not feeling the ones we have in game. There's not enough. There's like one design, that's it, you know. It's just not enough, right? We need a bit more. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the downloaded ones, again from the normal creators that I usually use. But yeah, they've come out really well. They work well. I was surprised because it's a moving object, obviously, but you know, the CC creators, God, they do such an amazing job usually, right? Most of the time. Not even usually. No, I take that back. Most of the time, if not always, they just do an amazing job. Okay, so what I've added here as well is a knitting sort of little kit. Again, if you don't have this pack, you know, you can still download it. It won't be included. But I added a little knitting kit and a little yoga mat as well. Again, what I feel like when I'm feeling a bit down is that it's hard to do my favorite hobbies. Which, you know, sounds again a bit silly because you're like, okay, well, why can't I do literally the things that I enjoy to do? But again, it's that sort of lack of motivation, I guess, and you know, just getting yourself to do those things can be a bit difficult. So this person has definitely tried to get a few things for themselves that would make them happy, and you know, things that they maybe enjoyed before. But again, these things are sort of pushed to the side right now, and they're not used as often as they should be, because it's hard to find the motivation. So, but they're there and they are waiting. When the person is ready to use them, then they can. I think that's the important thing here, right? Is that we can always sort of get back into our hobbies. They're not gonna go away anywhere, and things like that. And you know, let's pop like a little painting here as well, just to show maybe they haven't hung it up yet. So yeah, I kind of like that. I do really like that. And let me just think. I was trying to find, like we had before, a like paint buckets, I believe, and I'm not sure if they were in, you know, debug, or if they're here somewhere. So yeah, I think, you know, my idea is that they're a very sort of loved and beloved teacher or professor, etc. But yeah, it's just, for them it's a struggle, you know, and this is what I mean, that a lot of the time it's hard to tell that someone is struggling, I guess, because a lot of people don't show it, and sometimes they can't show it, you know, because for them it's just not something that they can imagine doing. Maybe they don't want to, but also maybe they were brought up that way, right? So that can be really difficult, of course. But yeah, so I feel like, you know, nobody really knows what is going on, but there is something going on, basically. But yeah, this is a really weird bedroom. But I hope it kind of gives that idea of it not being finished yet, of it just being sort of, you know, midway done basically, and well, not being done in the end. There we go, I found it. So here are the little paint buckets, just to symbolize, you know, that they were at some point in the middle of repainting this. And I also found yeah, just some like paint brushes and things, so you know, for their previous artwork and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of like tiny little details in this place, and I just hope that it comes through, and I hope it just gives you that feeling of, you know, what I was describing. Again, it's not supposed to be glamorizing it in any way, or, you know, making light of that situation. It's obviously something that's very serious, and that just needs to be brought into, you know, awareness. And that's pretty much it. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be using this build for my next Sims stories, which will revolve around anxiety and depression. And yeah, I just wanted to build it with you guys to show you, you know, the process of making one of these sorts of builds. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll now leave you with some photos of it. I hope that this was interesting, maybe inspiring, maybe just relatable, or maybe, you know, you have different opinions. Share them with me. I'm always happy to hear things from you guys. So yeah, take care of yourselves, everyone, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another Sims video. Bye bye, everyone.